Welcome back, friends, to another New World video. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can earn a big chunk of dark matter in New World every single week, and that is through the Trial of the Devourer. Located here in the bottom left of Brimstone Sands, you will find this arena. This is effectively the closest thing we have to a raid boss in New World. It is the Sandworm raid boss, a 20-person encounter or instance that was added back in Season 2. Not much has changed in terms of the boss battle or the rewards. You can still get the Sandworm heart rune, you can get some 625 gear score stuff, but you get dark matter. The first weekly kill that you get for the Sandworm gets you 320 dark matter. Every daily kill gets you another 80 dark matter, and then every single time you kill it, it is another 20 dark matter for a total of 420 dark matter. Now, a couple of things that make this boss fight challenging. Number one is the number of players that you need. Minimum players 12, but recommended that you bring 20 people into there. So finding 19 other people to play with can be a bit daunting for some of us. The other aspect is just knowing the fight, and that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So I'm going to explain to you guys how the Sandworm boss battle plays out, group composition, stats, consumables, all of that stuff, and then I'm just going to show you some footage that I've been doing with our company. So every weekend we've been getting some members online together, I've been shot calling, and we've been getting a weekly Sandworm kill for some extra dark matter. So if you guys are interested in killing a Sandworm for yourself, we're going to have timestamps down below in the description, which means you can scrub along the video and find the relevant section that you're interested in. So whether it's the setup or the actual fight, just like I say, we're going to have some raw footage for you to take a look at. We also have some tank POV as well, so some of the perspective of the tank, because the tank does have a pretty unique role in the Sandworm, and it's kind of different from the way we tank other things in New World, like I say. Feel free to scrub along in the video, and as always, guys, if you do find this sort of stuff useful, consider clicking subscribe. You know, I know every YouTuber says it like, oh, there's only a certain percentage of people subscribed. It does help out the channel, puts us closer to the next milestone, and always, you know, click the like button, leave a comment, all of that good stuff as well. So first things first, let's talk about your team composition going into the Sandworm raid. You're going to need to have one tank, and this tank is going to be an unusual tank in that you typically want to be playing with a ranged tank. So they want to be using a hatchet, typically with a carnelian gem, ideally the artifact hatchet. The Freya's Francisca is great for this one with a carnelian gem in it because it's got a lot of cooldown reduction on its thrown abilities. The reason for this is because the Sandworm does a heavy attack mechanic. It does a heavy attack mechanic in close range, and then it does a heavy attack mechanic in a long range. And if your tank stands like at a further range back, then it will only do the long range heavy attack, and then that is great for your DPS players because typically the DPS all clump up next to the Sandworm, as you will see in the footage that is coming further on in the video. So by having a ranged tank, you can just basically completely negate one of the attacks and make it a lot easier for your DPS to stay alive. There's a lot less that they have to worry about. The second role for the Sandworm that you want to have is healers. I recommend actually having 2 healers. I know having 20 people and only 2 of them being healers seems like a bit of a, you know, a weird thing. Like, what, only 2 out of the 20 people? But it turns out, you know, most of your players just stand together in one area, so one Sacred Ground, Orb, and Beacon on top of them will cover everybody. And then the second healer is kind of there to do some backup healing and keep an eye on the tank. They will be responsible for keeping the tank alive at various parts throughout the fight. After this, your next most important role is your ranged players. Now, arguably, these are more important than the healers or the tank. The ranged players, you want to have 4 of them, maybe 5 as a backup, and these are going to be players that are primarily playing with usually a bow and a void gauntlet. A bow and the life taker artifact is a great combo. You know, just generally played with a lot of bow players right now, and it works naturally because it scales off of dexterity. You've got Oblivion that you can pop down. The role of these players is to step on these light pads that you have around the outside of the arena. So you have the middle area of the arena, and then you have the outer stand, and on there are these sort of 4 pedestals or pressure plates. If you get your lights players to step on them all at the same time, a light will appear underneath the player's feet, and this is where the other role that comes in. You'll also need a shot caller who's typically going to be one of the healers, or they will just be one of the DPS players, and that shot caller will turn into the arena and look at the lights underneath the players. Now, if this sounds all a bit overwhelming, don't worry. Like I say, we've got some footage coming up later in the video, and you'll actually see what that looks like. But yeah, these players basically, they are pretty integral to the success of the raid. Now, it sounds like there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot on the line, and there kind of is, but the responsibilities is basically somebody says to them red or blue, and then they have to choose the color red or blue, and it's that simple. If they get it wrong, they do get one shot, and it does really jeopardize the raid, but it is a fairly straightforward role once you get into it, and like I say, it's best filled by being a ranged player, so you can maintain DPS, because you are going to be standing up on the back platform for, like, you know, 90% of the fight. After this, we just have our bulk DPS players. These are just going to be melee players for the most part. Typically, though, they do want to have a ranged weapon as well, so you want to have a melee weapon like a spear, or a warhammer, or a greatsword, but then you need a backup weapon like a fire staff or a bow, something with a ranged projectile for the secondary phase. And rather than go super deep into the mechanics, I am just going to let the footage sort of demonstrate what's happening there. But effectively, there is a point after you fight these two scorpions where everybody has to go up onto the high ground. They call the lights to get a shield buff, and then they have to DPS down the Sandworm from ranged with this shield buff. And the only thing that can really hit it is ranged attacks. If you go down into the middle of the arena during this point, there's a tremendous amount of acid damage, which is going to cause a lot of issues. So yeah, everybody needs to have a melee weapon and a ranged weapon ideally. And when it comes to the melee weapons, you kind of want to be diversifying. You don't want to have every single player with a spear. You want to have one player using a one-handed sword so they can apply rend with whirling blade. Then you want to have another player using the spear. One of them would perforate. Somebody else could be using javelin, and they could even use the artifact javelin, get the, what is it called, Sundering javelin here for another 40% rend. And then you would have somebody with a warhammer in there using armor breaker, just stacking up as many different debuffs as you can from a variety of different weapons, because one of the things that's unique to the Sandworm is you really want to try and apply as much rend and weaken as you can. It has like an extra cap on the ceiling of the normal amount of rend and weaken that you can apply. So stacking, like I say, your Sundering Clear Out, your Sundering Shockwave, your Armor Breaker, and then your Sundering Javelin, and then even something like Trenchant Rend by doing a heavy attack with a one-handed sword or something like that. Just having a wide variety of different weapons to apply different amount of debuffs, that is going to give you the best chances at success with the Sandworm raid. Now, with the team comp out the way, the next thing you can look at is your gear. Again, not all of this is like you have to have it. It's not like a hard, fast, strict rule. These are just what has been working for us and what the sort of casual group will do out there. Some people do go for some very advanced strategies where they just all in the Sandworm and they kill it in like 6 minutes. But, you know, again, for the sort of standard everyman group, this is what I'm recommending. Having an amulet with some strike protection and also a Jasper gem slotted into the amulet will go a long way. It doesn't even have to be like 700 gear score. It could just be a 600, 625 gear score. Because the Sandworm doesn't really care if you're 700 gear score. It will help, but it's not necessary. But yeah, having strike protection on the amulet with an extra 5% strike damage absorption from a Jasper Gem slotted into it for a total of 20% strike damage absorption, and that's because there are a few mechanics within the Sandworm, namely his heavy attacks and these sort of exploding mines or exploding eggs, which all do strike damage, and this can save you from a one-shot. So having a strike protection amulet, something that I recommend most players go for if they can. And then you can also look to put some chitin padding in your gear. I don't think this is like super necessary. For the ranged players on the lights, they are receiving a lot more acid damage. The Sandworm's spitting it more often, and there's more pressure that if they go down, it sort of wipes the raid. The same with the tank as well. They want to keep a nice high acid resistance because they're often a bit more in the thick of it. So some chitin padding in 4 or 5 pieces of gear for maybe the DPS and the healers. It only needs to be 1 piece, but the padding will help you out as well. And again, you can only put this in your armor, not in your jewelry. And then the last secret that actually really helps the Sandworm go down faster is the Stalwart Heart Rune of Firestorm. So this one over here. This is a interesting heart rune. Back in the day, you used to be able to cleanse acid burn, which is the main mechanic that you sort of experience within the Sandworm. You could cleanse it through something like Cleansing Tomb, or you could use the Greatsword. Let's see if we can pop that one up real quick. It is over here as well, the Purifying Raw, and it would remove the acid burn from you. That's no longer the case now. Amazon really cracked down on the way that you can remove acid burn, which is one of the main ways that you will die in the Sandworm. But for whatever reason, the Stalwart Heart Rune of Firestorm still cleanses acid burn, so this can be huge. Having as many players with this as possible to sort of remove acid burn during the post-Scorpion phase, which again, you'll see in the footage coming up, this can actually help out quite a lot. So if you're able to get the Stalwart Heart Rune of Firestorm by upgrading a normal Firestorm Heart Rune, So turning this into epic and then turning it into the legendary Stalwart version. Again, big deal there. And then lastly, we'll quickly walk over the consumables. The Sandworm is a beast, so infused beast ward coatings or infused turkey ward, these actually do count as a beast coating. They're going to be going away soon, but those would work. Then you want to have your beast coating on both of your weapons to do extra damage to the Sandworm. Honing Stone, of course, is the classic there. One unusual consumable that you don't see in many other types of content is powerful incense. You can buy this off the trading post or make it in some crafting station, but it is actually huge. It gives you 50% extra acid resistance, which is a really big deal. And then one of the unique consumable is the acid tincture. This is another way to remove acid burn. If you get fully burned, you can pop this. You don't want to be popping. You got to be careful with these. They're quite expensive, and if you pop them at the wrong time, they're pretty ineffective. But once you're fully acid burned, popping one of these can be a big deal as well. But it is a 100-second cooldown, so using them at the right time and, you know, double checking, can I get a firestorm instead? Generally a good idea. And then obviously you just got your stat food as well, whatever stat food works for you, fruit salad or banana parfait, toss stones, banana pudding, all of that stuff to give you the extra stats. You want to make sure you avoid using gemstone dust, you want to avoid using oak flesh bomb, and you also want to avoid using desert sunrise because these will override either the incense or the beast ward potion, and you don't want that happening. So no desert sunrise and also no gemstone dust or oak flesh bomb. When it comes to stats for the Sandworm, everybody's gonna have a little bit of a different preference. I think tanks playing like high strength, high con is gonna work pretty well. For your DPS, actually playing a low amount of Constitution is typically going to be a good way to go because running too much Constitution, the Sandworm is in some places like a DPS check. If you can't do enough damage, phases will last too long and you won't clear it. So running a lower amount of Constitution, either 50, 100 at most, and then favoring to go for more points into Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence. The healers, I think, playing 350 Focus and then the rest of the points into the con. You could also go with some points in Intelligence. Healers typically go to play the Life Staff and Void Gauntlet. I've covered what the DPS should be doing. The tank is going to play Hatchet, and then they could go with Sword and Shield. And then your ranged lights players will have a bow and a Void Gauntlet. So sort of stats that accompany those builds. I'm going to leave that down to you guys, but again, less Constitution often equals faster clear time, and you kill it faster, you know, the mechanics become less stressful. Right, I'm now going to go ahead and play some footage of us actually clearing the Sandworm. I believe throughout the fight, I am explaining the mechanics as they go. If you guys have any further questions, let me know in the comments down below. I do think that this is a pretty awesome fight in New World. It's a shame that it's kind of been a bit of content that's left behind. Only like a small percentage of the player base does it, but it is a great way to get dark meta, so hopefully you guys find this video useful in giving you guys some strats and, you know, some actual look at the fight itself. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead, click the like button, subscribe for more, and enjoy the fight. So let's get this guy's shield down to about 20%, just so we can not really worry about it too much. And then once we get him to about 20% left on his shield, we're going to stop doing DPS. And we'll explain the lights and how they interact with this guy's shield and make it easier to take him down. Alright, let's stop damaging his shield now. We'll just chill for a moment here. Yeah, we're going to go through what we're going to do here. So I'll explain the mechanics of how the fight is going to work and stuff. So for pretty much everybody other than those that are in Group 4, but that also BJ is going to be down here as well. Other than Group 4, we're pretty much going to spend like 90% of the fight down here in the arena, friends. So we're just going to be chilling down here. The Sandworm is going to pop up out of this sort of central bit here where I'm just sort of shooting my flamethrower. So this is where the Sandworm is going to be. And this is what we're going to just, you know, we're going to be standing here for, like I say, about 90, 80% and 90% of the fight, just doing damage to the Sandworm. And it's going to be pretty chill, just as long as you maintain heals, keep your Rens up, do damage and stuff like that. Now, throughout the fight, I'm going to be calling for lights, and whether you're on lights or not, it's good to know just generally how they work. So we've assigned players to the lights. We have Leaf on light number 1. On Tana, we have light number 2. Obitai is on light number 3. And then we have R10 on light number 4. Now, as I call the lights, I'm going to be going from right to left as we look at them, but for you guys up on the top, it's left to right. So we'll be starting with Leaf, then Tana, then Obitai, and then R10. Now, the problem with the lights, and the reason why you need a shot caller, is if you get close to the light, if you come up to R10's light here, which I'm just sort of standing next to and flamethrowing right now, you'll notice like a pad sort of appears under the light. So he actually can't see, they can't see what's under their light right there. You have to be from a distance to actually see what's going on. And the lights only activate if all players step on the pads sort of at the same time. So if you guys all just step on your pads right now, and now we can see the colors. So we've got corresponding colors. And the lights players will have 2 colors in front of them. They'll have a red and a blue. And I can tell them what colors they have. So it will be Leaf, red, Tana, red, Obitai, red, and R10, blue. And then you guys will interact with that color in front of you. So if you just go up to it, interact with the color that I've chosen. And now we have the shield breaker buff. For 45 seconds, we are overcharged and we deal bonus damage to shields. So now we can take down that golden boy. We don't have to, we don't, but now we can do bonus damage to shields. And this is going to be very important, because if we don't have the bonus damage to shields, the fight takes forever and we will wipe. So I'm going to be periodically calling for lights. The players will step onto the lights. I'll tell them what their colors are, and we'll get the shield buffs. So for the first sort of 3 minutes, it's just going to be pretty plain sailing. I'm going to be calling for lights periodically. We're going to be doing damage to the Sandworm. Every now and again, I'm going to say, ranged players, look up. If you have a ranged weapon, and you have the freedom to do so, you're going to need to look up into the air, sort of directly above the Sandworm, because he's going to be vomiting out these sort of snot balls into the air. They slowly travel up and then come back down. When they land on the ground, they will probably wipe us. They do a lot of damage. So we need to shoot the snot balls out of the air. So I'm going to be saying range look up. You guys need to deal with that. And I'm going to be saying lights. And that's pretty much it. That's the phase one. It's range look up and it's lights, deal with it. Second part of the fight, now this is where things get a little bit spookier, and this is most likely where you're going to die if it's your first time, but if you manage to avoid it, good job. We have Scorpion phase. So the Sandworm becomes invulnerable. He sort of disappears under the sand and we can't do any damage to him. And he summons these two big scorpions that are going to come out of either cave. So we have a cave on the right side and we have a cave on the left side where Reynaldo is jumping up and down right now. Most of us are going to be dealing with the right side scorpion first. So this is as we're looking towards the arena. We're going to DPS down a big scorpion, trying to do as much damage as possible. It sounds pretty straightforward, but the problem is the Sandworm is going to be trying to kill you guys the whole time we're doing this. So there's going to be this sort of green circle that will appear underneath one player's feet. And then you need to move out of the green circle. So it is roughly the size of Sacred Ground, slightly bigger. So if you see the green circle under your feet, you hear the rumbling, you're going to need to move. You need to dodge and get the heck out of there. If you get hit with the Sandworm, it will one-shot you. It also leaves a little acid pool on the ground. If you stand in the acid pool, it also does tremendous amounts of damage. So during the Scorpion phase, we're basically going to be DPSing down the Scorpion and keeping a close eye on the ground underneath your feet. Okay, so that's the second part. It's basically, don't let the Sandworm bite you, and DPS down the Scorpions. The whole time during the second part of the fight, during the Scorpion phase, we are all going to be down here. The sort of top level is off limits, so everybody's going to come down for the second half of the fight. And that's Scorpion phase. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead because we are going to overload you guys with mechanics, but I think if we can get through those two parts, we're going to be pretty good. So I will sort of commentate the fight as we go through and let you guys know. But those are the most two important parts, and I think if I keep continuing to add like layers to it, it's just going to get confusing. So we'll focus on just, you know, nailing that first part and the second part. So it's ranged players looking up to deal with the snot balls, and then the second part is our sort of dance with the Scorpions while the Sandworm, you know, we try not to get bitten. One thing that is important with the second part of the Scorpion phase is please stay away from the stairs as much as you can, guys. So we have the stairs, which we will go up. But the problem is if you're standing near the stairs and the Sandworm chooses you, he will come up underneath your feet and try and chomp you, and he'll leave a big acid pool on the ground, which doesn't disappear. And if we have an acid pool on the stairs, everybody has to run through it to go up. And that's going to be pretty bad. So try and stay away from the stairs during the Scorpion phase to the best of your ability. All right, are we ready? Already? Okay. Let's, I think we can just kill this guy, to be honest, without even worrying about it, right? Yeah, let's just get him down. So as this guy dies, he drops some swords on the ground. You see there's like this sort of blue glowing sword thing. If you interact with it, you pick it up. It'll say become empowered. It'll allow you to do bonus damage for a bit of time. So whenever we kill those guys, they're going to be spawning periodically. Pick up the swords. Alright. Let's do this, friends. We got this. Let's go. We generally want to be stacking up in this area if we can, so we can stay where I'm sort of doing fire staff stuff right now. This is where we want to be. Going further back puts you at range, puts you at danger. Stack up tight. Let's go. Alright, here we go. Range players looking up. Get those snot balls out the sky. Just shooting them with any projectile will blow them up. Don't let them hit the ground. Good stuff. Now back to DPS on the Sandworm. Alright, let's get some lights, please. Lights players, if you could step on the pads. Blue, blue, red, blue. Good job. Back to DPS on the Sandworm. And we're going to switch to these shielded enemies and deal with the ads that just came in. So let's DPS these down real quick. And then back to doing damage to the Sandworm. Range players, when you get the chance, just kill the extra enemies. Cancel that. Look up. This is the most important mechanic. Get rid of that. Look up and deal with the snot balls. Kill the remaining ads and back to Sandworm DPS. Good stuff. Apply your rends, do your damage. Pretty chill phase here, just doing DPS. Back to DPS. Let's get a set of lights ready to go, please. Step on the lights. Red, blue, red, blue. Good job, guys. Back to DPS. And we'll switch to ads when they stack up close on us. Alright, switching to DPS on the shielded enemies now. Get them down. Range players looking up. Shoot the snot balls. Alright, and now we're just going to keep DPSing until he summons the scorpions. I'll let you know when that's happening. Just DPS, heal, keep rends up. Alright, here we go. Scorpion phase. Come on down. Everybody into the arena. We're going to stack up on the right side. Where the flamethrower is. Everybody other than the tank and the healer. The dedicated tank healer. Now get ready to move, friends. When I say move, we're moving, okay? Get ready to dodge. Move that person. Adelia, you got it. Nice. Good job. We're safe. We're safe. Keep DPSing. Move. Move out of that. You can't get reses. Move. Moving. Keep moving away from the sandworm, guys, when it comes up. Move, move, move. Good job. Keep it up. Keep that movement. You can't get the reses. The acid does too much damage, I'm afraid. Keep moving. And we need light 3. We need a replacement for light 3. That's pretty rough. Okay, thank you. All right, let's get up into the top platform. Sorry, everybody going up now. Go up. Go upstairs. Stack up together. This is probably where you need your acid tinctures, and players step onto the lights. Do not attack the sandworm. Do not attack the sandworm. Just chill. Just chill. I'm waiting for the lights. Light 4. We have blue, red, red, red. Good job. Now we can attack the sandworm. Let's go. Ranged attacks on the sandworm. Melee players just dealing with any ads. Try to dodge as it spits towards you. You gotta dodge that projectile coming in. Stand in heals. Regen potions. Whatever you got to stay alive. And keep doing ranged attacks on that sandworm. Almost broken its stamina. Keep it up. Good job, guys. Good job. Now get the reses. Kill these scorpions. Do not jump down yet. Just wait a moment. Right. It's safe to go down now. Now we go back and resume our normal positions. Back to what we were doing at the beginning of the fight. Range look up. Shoot those projectiles. We're going to res our downed players, and we're going to go back to phase 1. It's exactly as it was previously now. Now, this is pretty much the entirety of the fight. That's it. We've got one more mechanic we haven't seen. It's going to come up soon. But you guys know what you're doing. You've seen like 90% of the fight now. Let's get our lights, please, friends. Step onto the lights. We have a blue, a red, a blue, a red. Good job, guys. Switching to the shielded enemies, DPSing them down. Range players looking up. And back to just doing DPS. Now let's get a set of lights real quick if we can, guys. Step on the lights. Red, 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 blue. Good job, guys. Good job. Back to DPS. Right, switching to shielded enemies now. Kill them as fast as you can. Let's go. Range players looking up. Deal with the projectiles. Alright, now we just gotta keep going until Scorpion Face. It's back to after just DPS as much as we can until he does the Scorpions again. Here we go, Scorpion Phase. Back down, everybody. You know the drill. It's the exact same as it was last time. So you just gotta watch out for the Sandworm appearing under your feet. Don't stand in the acid pools and DPS down the Scorpion as fast as you can. Moving. Move again. Keep it up, guys. Moving. Just gonna let you guys do your own thing here. You know what to do. Next Scorpion, let's go. Careful. Alright. Let's get up to those stairs. Let's go. Stand up at the top platforms. Get your regen potions. Get ready. And lights players, step on lights as soon as you can, please, friends. We have red, red, blue, blue. All right, let's go. Light attacks on the Sandworm. Let's go. Break that stamina. Acid tinctures, regen potions, healers. Do your thing. Dodge. Dodge as he looks at you with the spit. You gotta make sure you dodge those spits as they come in. We've almost got it. Right, once we break it, keep attacking. Keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking. Just keep range attacking the Sandworm. Okay, we didn't get it. Right, this is the only other mechanic. He's gonna spew out these bombs. We have to mine them. Do not jump down yet. Just wait, 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 wait. Mine the things on the top. Now jump down and go interact with those crystals on the ground. We have to mine them. Otherwise, they will explode. Range players, we need you to look up. We mine them all? I think we got them. Nice work. Back to usual positions, and we kill the Sandworm here, friends. Let's go. Lights, step on the pads, please. Blue, 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 blue. All blue. Good job. Dealing with the shielded enemies. Let's get them down. Range players looking up. Shoot down the snot balls. Alright, we got one more set of mines here. Let's go mine these ASAP. High ground, mine your rocks. Low ground, mine the rocks. Go mine them. Get rid of them as fast as possible, and then we can go back in. Looks like they're all dealt with. Back to positions. Good job, guys. Very quick, very fast. Might be able to kill it here. Bump that DPS. Range players looking up. Let's make sure we deal with these. We'll get greedy. Alright, we can go for the kill now. Just kill it. Nice work, guys. Good job, everybody. There it is. So in your major box, there will be, I think it's 320 dark matter. In the minor box, there's more dark matter. So it should be better to get 420 dark matter here. Nice work, guys. That was really clean.